What's going on, everybody? My name is Drew Bronson, and welcome back to another week of Cinema Smackdown. Now, we have a lot of news coming out of the cinema world, but the main reason because of that is a major development. You heard that right. After a long 118 days, the SAG-AFTRA strike has finally reached a deal and has come to an end. Now, we don't exactly know the full details of the contract that was made, but all those details are said to get revealed tomorrow, with the contract going into a majority vote, this coming Tuesday to get ratified. Now, with this strike finally ending, we've been getting a couple of new things we'll talk about here in a moment, but one thing I want to talk about right now is some more behind the scenes photos from Five Nights at Freddy's. And I gotta say, now these photos are everywhere right now. It's spreading like wildfire, so you can find them online. It just makes it feel more nostalgic. Seeing all these behind the scenes photos with the cast and crew. Yes, there have been some photos and videos released on set, but we've been getting a closer look at the animatronics and the puppeteers in the puppet suits. I mean, it's just incredible that the strike is finally over. Now, after the strike ended, we got a couple new trailers. Now, I want to talk about two specifically here in this episode. So, I just got one question. Are you afraid of ghosts? Next spring, we will be getting our latest installment into the Ghostbusters franchise as we get a new Ghostbusters story called Frozen Empire. Now, it's going to have the same cast that we had in Ghostbusters Afterlife, so people like Finn Wolfhard, Paul Rudd, all of them, including some of the original cast members like Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson. I am genuinely excited to get another Ghostbusters movie. I've seen all of them up to this point. Not the biggest fan of Ghostbusters 2 though, but that's just me. This also feels like something brand new and original into the franchise because I have never seen this happen in the past movies. All they've really done was bring back Gozer in Afterlife, and then obviously Vigo in the painting in Ghostbusters 2. Whereas in this movie we have a brand new threat in something called the Death Chill, and some type of ghost or demon or whatever it is. I'm interested to see how this will play out. And honestly, there's not a whole lot I can say right now because we only know so much from the teaser. But it's going to be an interesting ride by the time we get to the spring. The first Inside Out movie came out in the summer of 2015, and it was easily one of the best Pixar movies ever made. Now, 8 years later, we're finally getting a sequel. Inside Out 2 is slated to be released sometime next year in 2024. And at this time, Riley has grown up a little bit. She's 13 years old, finally a teenager. And then the puberty button, which we saw at the end of the first film, finally goes off. A wrecking crew comes in, demolishes headquarters, and installs a brand new console. And this is where things take a bit of a turn. They see that the console is lit up orange, but none of the current emotions are orange, which is revealed that we're getting some new emotions, one of them being anxiety, who is sitting with them at the console. Now everyone is confused as to why there are some new emotions popping up in headquarters. All those questions are going to get answered by the time the sequel comes out next year. But it's not just anxiety that is showing up in this sequel. We're getting a couple new emotions as well. So Riley's in for a bit of a rude awakening when it comes to dealing with puberty. The acne is going to be the worst. At least for me, it was. So, but yeah, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and Inside Out 2 are just two of the brand new things that got announced in the past week that we are getting next year. But before we get out of here, I want to talk about the Marvels for a moment. The Marvels serves as a sequel to the 2019 film Captain Marvel, and in this sequel we have Nick Fury, Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan. Now, I would say before you watch this movie, make sure you have seen Captain Marvel, Avengers Endgame, WandaVision, and Miss Marvel. Also, spoiler warning if you haven't seen The Marvels yet, so make sure you go watch that movie and then come back here to the video. I enjoyed The Marvels more than Captain Marvel. I think it's Kamala Khan that really adds something to it. Being that fangirl for Captain Marvel, it just makes the movie seem a little more fun. It's either her or Goose the Cat or both. But no, I really think this was a step up for Captain Marvel. Plus all of the little baby Flurkins. I mean, those were absolutely adorable. Basically, the whole premise of the movie was taking place after Captain Marvel, where Carol Danvers set out to destroy the Supreme Intelligence on Hala. She did do that, but it took a lot away from Hala and its people. So much so that one of the residents on Hala, named Dar-Ben, set out and she wanted to get back at Captain Marvel and take away everything she cared about, or as she and her people like to call her, the Annihilator, because of what she did to the Supreme Intelligence. And on her journey, she found the second half of the bangles. Obviously, Kamala Khan has one from her family, but there was another one buried out in space that Dar-Ben found. And apparently what the bangles are supposed to do is the power of the bangles allows someone to control all the jump points that get people from one galactic universe to another. But because Dar-Ben only had one of them, it created unstable jump points, which not only would it'll still allow her to get the resources needed to restore Hala, but it would destroy the world that the resources are being taken from. So this whole team gets assembled of Danvers, Rambeau, and Khan to set out and stop Dar-Ben before more planets and everything gets destroyed just to restore Hala. Eventually, everything gets resolved. Unfortunately, Dar-Ben didn't make it, but a simple solution was made where the power that Carol Danvers possesses could be used to restore the sun and bring Hala back to what it used to be. Now, Kamala Khan, she's back at home with her family, getting praise for not only just saving Jersey City in Miss Marvel, but also saving the world in the Marvels. Monica Rambeau, on the other hand, when an unstable jump point started to just rip and another universe started to spill into theirs, Monica took in some of the power from Carol and Kamala just to help her close the jump point, but in doing so, it sealed her in another universe. So, We don't know if, how, or when Monica Rambeau will return to Earth 616. But what we do know is that in the end credits scene, things get very, very interesting. So we see Monica Rambeau in a hospital with her mom. At least that's what it looks like to us, as since it's another universe, Monica's mom is someone completely different and has no idea who Monica is. Insert one of the X-Men. Beast shows up. And I am shocked. Like, yes, we know that Deadpool 3 is going to be MCU canon, so we knew we were getting X-Men at some point. But this was just a treat. Like, seeing the X-Men finally debut in the MCU, well, actually that was back in Multiverse of Madness with Charles Xavier, but still seeing more of the X-Men slowly start to appear, it's gonna be a very interesting ride by the time we get to Deadpool 3 in the future. But overall, I'd say I give Marvel's 8 out of 10 from me. And it was a good movie. I did enjoy it. That's going to do it for this week's episode. Now, next week, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Trolls Band Together, as well as my predictions for Survivor Series War Games, which is going to be happening on Saturday, November 25th. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on new videos. I'll see you next week.